You gotta have passion. If you don't have passion for what you do, just throw it away. If you don't have passion for what you do, people can tell. I think that people are seeing my passion for what I do, and they're like, that's pretty good. And it's like...
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Practical Entrepreneur Show. I am your host, the one and only, never lonely, Nicholas Luna, and today's guest is a cinematographer. If you follow me on social, you may have seen my recent video, which is awesome, by the way, and this individual is actually the person who did it. His name is Michael Perez. He is a cinematographer. So sit back and enjoy. He's going to go into his story. He's a fresh entrepreneur. He's only been doing the cinematography business full-time for the last 3 months, but he's got plenty of experience. Just finally decided to take the jump and be a full-time entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy. So,
I'm gonna take these glasses off because it's gonna glare the entire time.
Give us a little background. What's your name? Where are you from? What is your business? And what's your favorite color?
Well, let me get that out of the way then. My favorite color is navy blue. It's blue, but navy blue is what looks best on me.
Okay.
My name is Mike Perez. I was born out here in the Los Angeles area, but I'm actually been living in Kern County for the last 20 some odd years. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. 20 some odd years, last 2 decades. I've been in Kern County, and that's where I've been and been trying to make my life out there. So right now I'm a video professional. I went to school for cinematography, but I don't want to call myself a cinematographer. And a lot of people take issue with that because if you go to cinematography, that's like the prestigious name for it. I'm more of a videographer.
Got it.
Simply because I'm not doing cinema. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a cinematographer. I'm trying to start up that business, and I'd like to see where it goes from there. I'd like to set up the business to where it can be run by other people, let the business work for me, start up multiple businesses. I have a passion for it, so I think that's why I continue to do it. But that's me, and that's what I do.
Sounds good. Now, what made you get into making videos? Like, was it, did you always like it as a kid, or is it something that happened as an adult? What made you like filming?
Well, the videos I definitely took on as an adult. I got into it in 2012. And that's when the technology was at a point where an average consumer could purchase a piece of equipment that was making images that the professionals were doing years before that. And that's what sparked the interest, where it was like, I can do this. But the seed of that goes back to my childhood with me and my family, my cousins and stuff, and we would actually play in the backyard, and we wouldn't just play hero or play the comic book character. We would make movies, quote unquote. And instead of just playing games, we would play movies. There'd be a hero, there'd be a villain, blah, blah, blah. And so I've had this kind of creative thing, and actually me and all of the cousins that we were playing, we all have this creative bug. So I did it with music. I was into music, and I was recording in the recording arts. And recording with other people in town, recording them, kind of like I'm doing videos now for other people in town. So that's where it started. That's where the seed was at. And so once I realized the thing about video, I was like, I'm gonna take this to the next level. And so I went to school for it, and I got my degree for it in cinematography, as I said before. And that's what sparked it to maybe wanting to go to starting a business, making money from it. Okay. So yeah, that's where it started from.
Now, how long have you been in business for?
I would say about 2 to 3 months now.
Okay.
Just consistently pushing it full time. I've been doing it part time since 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Very few clients, and it was kind of along the lines of word of mouth. I'm going to do it for this guy. Hopefully, he'll say what's up to the next guy, and so on and so forth. So very few clients. One faithful client throughout all those years. I still have this client. He's still with me today. He's really awesome, really creative dude. And we kind of mesh together, and we make good videos for his business. And then one-offs here and there.
Okay. So 2014 2014 or 12, 2012, right?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So, and you said you just been doing it full time for the last 3 months. What made you take that jump into doing it full time?
Well, I'm a very security loving person. I love securities. I'm not the type of guy that's going to go out and be the hero or do the daring, dashing, courageous thing. So, my son was asking me, he wants to be an engineer. So he says, Dad, what makes the most of money? An engineer who works for a job or a company, or one who starts his own business? And I was like, son, it all depends on what kind of person you are. And I explained to him, I'm the kind of person that likes security. I like going to a job. They tell me what to do. I do it. I get a check. I have insurance. I have all these things taken care of. And now that I have a family, it also, I'm secure. So I told him I'm not the kind of guy that can go out and do business for myself. Long story short, I'm now in a position where I'm not at my job anymore. So it's like, well, now I have the opportunity. I could either find another job, work my way up the ladder, or being that I'm painted into a corner, I could do what I've been wanting to do, enjoy what I'm doing, build up a business from there, and pursue it full time. You know what I mean? If I can pursue this full time and it can feed me and take care of my bills for now, then I think I'm going to pursue it for as long as I can, as long as I'm enjoying it, as long as it's paying me, and I'm not breaking my back to keep it open. I mean, breaking my back meaning I can't pay my bills, I can't feed myself, feed my family. Then it becomes a problem, and then I need to look for something else. Okay. But right now, it's doing at least that. I'm definitely not living high on the hog. Definitely not where anybody would want to be, but I'm actually going to work for myself, and I'm enjoying it.
Sounds good. Now, maybe I missed it, but was it when you were having the conversation with your son and you were explaining to him, as far as who will make more, is that when you realized if I work for myself, I'll be able to make more, and that's why you decided to do this full time?
Well, I explained to him two things. I said, if you're really good at your job, somebody can hire you and they can pay you a good amount of money and they'll take care of you. As long as you're doing your job, you're doing it well, you can get a good amount of money, 6-figure salary sometimes. And you'll have your benefits, you'll have all that covered. I said, but if you're good at business, you're good at talking to people, good at building relationships, I said, there's no cap on how much you can make. So long as you're not attached to that security. And that's what I was explaining to him. I said, well, son, that's not me. And, I was explaining to him to that. I said, if you're that kind of person, then I would say go out on your own, because you can make more money, and you could make more money. You could also make less money, a lot less money. So it all depends on who you are, how fueled and passionate you are about it, and how much you're willing to pay to do what you like or love to do, and how long you're willing to put up with it.
Got it. So, because now, I don't think it's always about money.
Right.
And people have this misconception that you can work for yourself and make a lot of money, and you can.
Yeah.
But money doesn't buy you happiness. It's very true. But one thing that money does, it does provide a very nice down payment. Mm-hmm. Whenever you want to, purchase anything, you want to travel, you want to buy a home, you want to buy a car, it's really nice to have money.
Yeah, you need it.
You can't do it. You can't pay your bills with opinions. You can't pay your bills with hugs and kisses. You actually need cash.
You need money.
So, but what I know is sometimes when you work and you make a lot of money, say like a job, you lose a lot of time.
Yes.
And now, what some people don't understand is you can make a 6-figure income. Let's just say your son decides to become an engineer and he works for Boeing. He works for Northrop Grumman. He works for, I don't know if he's doing audio engineering. He works for Sony or George Lucas or whatever,
right.
Engineering field he decides to work for. He makes $120,000. That's before taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes comes around. You're probably taking home $70,000 to $80,000, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
You may take a little bit more. Now, being self-employed, taking home $50,000, $60,000, but having more time, to me, seems a lot more rewarding and beneficial.
Right.
Now, as an older and wiser adult, have you expressed or just shown your son that option that yes, you can work for a company, you can make a lot of money, but you're not going to have a lot of time, or you can work for yourself, not make as much money, you probably make $10,000 to $15,000 less, but you have more time?
Well, actually, he asked me this question not too long ago.
Okay.
He's only 11, by the way. Just so let me clear that up. He's only 11. He's so intelligent. So he asks all these questions that are beyond his years, and they often force me to be introspective because he's just so inquisitive. He's our firstborn, and he's extremely inquisitive. And I'm trying to guide him as well because kind of correlates with what you and I have been talking about when it comes to lack of education in our communities, especially in the Hispanic community, especially concerning wealth. Like in our heritage coming to this country, I'm like third generation, but you still don't get schooled on wealth. So I'm trying to get my son. Now, I'm not the type of father that's going to say, hey, you're going to go to college and you're going to do this. But I tell him, look, whatever you want to do, figure it out now. As far as, do you want to go to college? Okay. What do you want to do there? Figure that out. Because I don't know how many kids I went to high school with. We all said we're going to college, but we didn't know what we were going for. That's one thing. If he doesn't want to go to college, what are you interested in? What do you want to do? And then take it from there. And again, what I just told him, this was just a few months ago. That's the mindset I was in. I was locked into the 9 to 5. This is how I'm going to retire. Before that, my mindset was, I'm not going to stay here. This is going to be a jumping off point. I'm going to do some other things without a plan. I had no plan. Mind you, I spent that time and I went to school, found my passion, and then got backed into a corner, and now I'm at where I'm at. And it's kind of blessing in disguise. Whereas I'm actually doing what I want to do now, and it's not a pain to do work. It doesn't, you've heard the saying like a million times, well, if you're doing what you love, then it's not work. It's work. It's still work. But you enjoy to do the work. Especially like for me as a quote unquote creative, when I see whatever I'm doing come to fruition, it's like awesome. It's awesome. We were out filming earlier today, and as I'm filming it, I'm seeing the end product in my mind. I'm like, this is going to be dope. This is going to be so cool. And that's what I love to do. That fuels me to keep going. And that's what's awesome. And then you get paid to do it. That's even better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm learning. And my son is watching me too, especially. He knows what I'm doing now. I'm doing the video business. I'm not in a 9 to 5 job like I was. So he's seeing me, and he remembers what I said. So he's just kind of seeing me live it out. So my own opinions have personally changed in recent months, because I never would have thought I'd be doing this, like just going out on my own and actually trying full time to go and do this. So it's been a game changer, an eye opener. Been plugging myself into different things like this podcast. Podcasts like these is what I listen to on a daily. For one, to open my mind. Didn't even think avenues like this were possible. And then two, to actually give me the courage and encouragement to actually go out and do it. Motivation and things like motivating speakers and podcasts and YouTube videos and all that stuff, it's necessary. What's his name? Eric Thomas.
Okay.
He was talking about motivation. They were telling him, motivation don't last. And he goes, neither does a shower, but you need one every day. And it's the same thing with this Motivation Speaks podcast, YouTube. You need them every day. And that's exactly why I listen to podcasts, listen to all this stuff. And when I get motivated, I'm like, let's get it. I'm not thinking about, I only got paid for this job, or, I didn't get that many leads this week. Maybe I should just go get a job. No, as long as I stay encouraged, I'm like, I'm going to kill it. Matter of fact, I'm going on the computer right now and I'm going to go, advertise. I'm going to go post something on my Instagram or my Facebook. I'm going to go if I don't have a client, I'm going to go make a video, of something obscure and make it look great. Post it on my Facebook or my Instagram or both. And then people come and say, hey man, those look awesome. I want you to film this for me. I want you to film that. So there's always a way to, stay encouraged. And so, yeah, I'm just going through this whole change and I'm realizing everything. And it's kind of eye-opening. It's awesome.
Sounds good. Now, I know one thing that in your business, what some of the major costs are the equipment. Now, you've been doing this full time for the last couple of months. Someone could say, well, it's, a couple of months, it's really early, how much, how many scars do you have and stuff like that. And if someone wanted to start off, today and they wanted to do their follow their passion as far as making video content, or making advertisements for small businesses, and they don't have the equipment and the equipment cost, what is something that you can recommend to them?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty easy. Now, to address the first part, I've been going to school and I've been into it since 2012. So I've been building up, my gear since 2012. So that's one thing. The cost of entry was not as high for me. So I have a lot of equipment that I've built up over, so many years. And the way it goes is, when the new camera comes out, you sell the one that's just outdated and you could still get most of your money back. So I've been able to stay on top of that mountain. Okay. But it's so easy because the technology has brought all of this stuff to an affordable place. So if you're looking to start a videography business, or you just want to get into you're doing YouTube and you want an awesome camera, they're one and the same. I would suggest, and I have it in my camera bag, is a Sony A6300, which is a camera that does 4K. It's a APS-C size sensor, which is, if you don't know about sensors, basically a sensor is basically what's in your iPhone. So if you guys are watching, your iPhone has a sensor in there and in there. And for those of you listening, I'm just pointing to the cameras on the phone. The iPhone or any other smartphone, they're very small sensors, but they get great images. The bigger that sensor gets, the nicer, the clearer, the more cinematic the film gets, the video gets. And that's what changed everything. In 2008, Canon, they have full frame, full size sensors in their professional photography cameras. HD video was starting to be all the rage in 2008. So they enabled it in their professional camera with this humongous sensor in it. And lo and behold, the video professionals, the photography professionals that knew a little bit about video, set the settings properly, set the exposure properly, and started filming. I was like, this is like the pros. And it was an accident. It was an accident by Canon because Canon already sold video cameras. So they didn't mean to stumble over themselves, but they made, they made an excellent camera by mistake, and that was the Canon 5D Mark II. Started the whole revolution. Then they came out with the Canon Rebel series. A lot of people know about that. They sell them in Costco and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You can get those for a good price, but the reason why I advocate the Sony A6300 is because it does 4K, which the Canons don't do unless you pay a higher price. And you can get the Sony, a used one, for like $650 without a lens. If you need to get a lens, so you're gonna pay if you don't have anything at all. If you have $1,000, that'll get you a decent camera with a lens. And you'll either want to get a shotgun mic, about $100. So barrier to entry is about $1,200. If you at least got that, or you can get that on credit and you could pay that back, I would definitely try that. And then YouTube is replete with how to work manual settings on a camera, because that's what you want to do. That's what's going to separate you from everybody else. That's what separates me from everybody else. I went to school for it. Yes, I know everything, but I promise you, for somebody who went to film school, everything you want to know in film school is on YouTube, is on Google. There's actually a website called nofilmschool.com. That guy went to film school and he just has made his career off of teaching everybody for free. You don't have to go to film school. So, yeah, you can learn everything. Matter of fact, I went in 2012 was when I got the itch to do video. By 2013, when I started attending school, I already knew a whole bunch because of YouTube. I knew how to work my camera. I knew about setting exposures. what frame rates to record at, and that was in 2012. So now in 2018, going on 2019, there is so much information on the internet on how to make your videos, how to set the exposure, how to do extra things to make them look good and stand apart. You want to do that. You don't want to put your camera in auto mode. You're not going to get the same thing. Everybody puts their stuff in auto mode. It works for YouTube, but if you're going to try to do this as a business, it's what's going to make my knowledge of how to set the camera is going to make me jump leaps and bounds over you because you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So, but I often, because I'm not trying to keep anything from my clients, I'm pretty honest that way. Even if I sabotage myself and cutting off business, if I want you to succeed, I'm going to give you the formula. So say if you came to me and you were like, well, how do I do this? I'm going to buy a camera. I totally help you out. And that's what's going to set the difference. Like, so also, you could also get one of the new iPhones. If you're looking for, decent stuff, that can handle it. If not, and you want to do stuff where I'm doing it, my level, that's where I would go.
Sounds good. Now I know you talked a lot of, gave a lot of information as far as what camera you should get, knowing the settings and not leaving the camera in auto mode because everyone does that.
Yeah, everybody does.
You made me think of like myself, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of health insurance brokers out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard to find one, but what separates me from everyone else is that I have 8 years of experience in working for the biggest insurance company in America.
Yeah.
So I have back-end experience on both how to deal with, doctor's offices, insurance companies, and just overall insurance. So it makes sense. Like you have to have something, that will separate you from everyone else. And I do believe that, people will try to, let me put this on auto and, it's simple. The camera will figure it out. But, you're by you saying like, no, I know how to put the right settings that will make your video or make, the quality of my work better.
Yes.
Which is important. And I think, there's no shortcuts, everybody who's listening to this, that you can't just put it on auto. You actually have to work. Mm-hmm. So do not be intimidated to go online and do the research to figure out what's going to make you a better videographer. Now you did say about an iPhone. Now one thing a lot of people always will come up with, there's an excuse, right? Well, I don't have $1,200 to get started,
mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have an iPhone.
Yep.
Okay. Someone tells you, what, I want to do what you're doing, but I don't have any money, but I have an iPhone.
Yep.
What's something that they can start with, like, because, let's be honest, if you were to show up today
mm-hmm.
and you had an iPhone,
yeah,
I would laugh at you. I probably wouldn't hire
you.
Right?
Absolutely.
I would like, get out of here.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So for someone that's in that predicament, right, that all they have is an iPhone,
mm-hmm.
what's one way for them to kind of get started and earn some credibility out in the field?
Oh, well, that's pretty easy. Actually, if you guys just do a search on YouTube, there have been feature-length films that have been filmed with iPhones. Once iPhone started shooting 4K, it was over. A lot of people, I guess you gotta have, for one, the first thing, you and I have been talking about this, you gotta have passion. You don't have passion for what you do, just throw it away. If you don't have passion for what you do, people can tell. I think that people are seeing my passion for what I do and they're like, that's pretty good. And it's like, and right now I'm not getting paid a lot of money to do what I do. I'm getting paid just enough to make it worth it. You know what I mean? And that's okay. I'm getting started in the business, but I'm passionate about what I do. So I'm like, just for example, if you pay me $50, I'm not going to give you a $50 video. I'm going to give you a $1,150 video. You just paid me $50 for it, and eventually the clientele will work up to that point and maybe beyond. But I'm going to give my best because I'm passionate about it. So back to the iPhone, if you're passionate about it, you're going to learn, again, there was a film produced on an iPhone, and since then there have been many more because obviously the cameras have gotten better. Now we have the new iPhone X that's coming out later this month. It's going to have a better camera. So if And if whatever you have right now, if you have, I have an iPhone 6s. If you have an 8, it's an awesome camera. Or even, matter of fact, the Androids, and don't hate me, Apple folks, I'm an Apple guy, but the Androids actually have a better camera if you put it in manual mode. It has a manual mode that you could set the settings on. If you don't, you put it in auto, those cameras suck. They suck if you put it in auto mode, and auto Apple versus auto Android, Apple always wins. But if you were to put it in pro mode, what they call it, or what they called it at one point, and you could set the aperture and you could set the exposure, it's actually a way better camera. I'm not sure if Apple has that or not. I'm pretty sure there's probably apps that you could do that as well, but I've never messed with any of those. But you can do it. You absolutely can do it. Matter of fact, I think of Parker Walbeck. He's actually done a lot of those things where he's actually compared the new LG phone to a red camera. Red camera is like what they film top level music videos and a lot of Hollywood movies. So, if he's comparing those two, they obviously, you can shoot at a high level. You just got to have the passion to do it. Parker Walbeck has a large passion to do it. It's why he owns a Red, because he's built up enough clientele to pay for one of those. All that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be, if you're passionate enough, this is the age of information. Anything you want to do, you can learn how to do it. It used to be like you would actually have to, go out there and find a mentor in whatever it is that you want to know. But you got to know what you want to do in the first place. Now you just sit at a computer or sit at your phone, type it in, how to, ... whatever it is that your passion is, and you'll learn how to do it. Simple as that. So really, it's all on you and you getting up off your butt, put the video game controller down, or unless that's what you want to do, then grab your video game controller and become a pro.
Yeah.
Start your own Twitch stream. But if nobody sees you doing it, then you're not going to go anywhere either. So you got to do something, you know what I mean? You got to be passionate enough about what you're doing, get off your butt and go chase it. And I think that's what made the difference for me these last few months, is that I was passionate about what I did, but I didn't chase it. And now, again, for me, in my personality, I had to be backed into a corner. I'm backed into a corner now, and it's like, now I have to. The Ravenous Wolf comes out, and it's like, ooh, I didn't know that was there. And that's what I'm doing now. And it's like, well, good. Now I'm just going to keep going after it. And, I'm working because I have to, but now it's like, oh, I really enjoy this. And that's why, I quit the job that I was at and chasing this full time now.
What were you doing before?
Well, before I was at a school district, and I was a janitor there. And even though I was a janitor, it was actually a good paying job at the district that I was at. Everybody knows school job, good benefits. It's pretty much a government job.
Yes.
So I had really good benefits. And at the district that I was at, they really took care of their employees. So not only did I have great benefits, but they had good pay. I got raises from when I started to 9 years later. I was still getting raises. They gave you an annual raise every year. So it was a good job, very good job. I ended up leaving that job and I went to do something else. And the last job I was at was like retail Home Depot. Hated it. No diss to Home Depot, but just I didn't like the job. I never liked retail. I've done retail in the past before. I did not like Home Depot. I didn't like any retail jobs. It's just, for me, it's super tedious.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're doing, it gets broken down. The one thing I did pick up from there is that all my life I've been very introverted. I guess when engaged, I'm able to engage well with other people. Only when engaged. I'm not the type of person that would go out and, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. It seems like that's your personality. You got a great personality. You're able to go talk to people. I didn't have that till recently. I don't know if it's just came with age, experience. I couldn't explain it, to be honest with you. But I know that once I came to Home Depot, I was actually a lot more outgoing, was able to help customers, had a good reputation there with the people. So I was just like, awesome. So I was like, you know what? That coupled with me wanting to do this, I'm just going to go out there and do it. And so I quit that job, and it wasn't a very high paying job anyway. So it was like, well, I got to. So I did it. And it's going well. The boat is still sailing. So far, so good.
Sounds good. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of backstory as far as how I got connected with Michael. Anthony Banderas, who was on the show before, I don't remember which episode, but he's the owner of Échale Ganas Apparel. Follow him on Instagram at Échale Ganas. And Anthony does really good video work. One thing that I like about Anthony, in, as far as himself as a business person, is that he always makes really good content. And there was one video that he had on his Instagram, and I saw it, and I really liked it. So I contacted Anthony, and I'm like, who did your video? This video is really good. He's like, oh, I normally do my own videos, but this one was done by, a friend of mine. I'm like, who is he? I want to get in contact with him. So if you make good work, or if you have a good product, you have a good service, focus on that. As far as the whole marketing part, yes, I know you want to get a ton of customers, but when you focus on your work, the work will come to you. This is an example of Michael's work, like clients coming to him. I reached out to him because I saw his work on someone's Instagram page. So if you're out there and you're just trying to figure out, what to do, find something, do it, and do it well. Don't be lazy. Anyone can do lazy work, but everyone wants great work. And one of the reasons why I decided to, work with Michael is because I really liked the fact how he was able to tell the story of that business owner talking about, the restaurant business. And it was just the way it showed everything. And I was like, okay, I think he can work something out with myself. So with that being said, now you're on your own, and you're no longer employed by anybody. You said you had good benefits. One thing that I have noticed throughout my years in being a broker is that self-employed people, business owners, usually put off health insurance. How are you addressing your health insurance needs that you're self-employed now?
No different from 99% of the people. Same thing. I mean, I'm 35 now, so it's no longer something that it's like, I could throw that to the back burner, no big deal. The only reason it's on the back burner right now is just like I said, I'm still fledgling. So, but it's definitely something that has to be on, because I'm no longer a Sprite chicken anymore. I'm out there weightlifting, and things just stop working at this age. And it doesn't make sense because, yesterday I was 20, in your mind. And so now that things aren't working, it makes you think, I need to worry about, health insurance. What if I need to, and even, health insurance, depending on the kind of coverage you get, you can go get massages, and you could, get your back checked, chiropractic, because that are things that come with, I lift weights, I'm in the gym all the time, because that's also part of, health insurance. And, we were talking about that, mm-hmm. Taking care of yourself. And so you're also doing that, but in taking care of yourself, you can also break yourself, so you can also get injured in trying to exercise and stay fit and healthy. So, all that's brought to the surface. I need to get with that. So, I've definitely thought about it.
Okay. Because health insurance nowadays is very affordable. Thank you to President Obama and his administration. Just say, the administration, to make it affordable. The Affordable Health Care Act.
Mm-hmm.
People like to call it Obamacare. Yes, so President Obama did make it, but it is the Affordable Health Care Act. And it's very affordable for anyone that is, looking to start their own business. It's one of the biggest things that people have to raise money for is health related. Yeah. If you go to GoFundMe.com and you start, going there, trying to, start a campaign.
Yep.
The number one campaign is medical and health is number one. I believe everyone should have insurance. By law, everyone's required to have insurance. But the reason why I think everyone should have insurance is because the hospital and the doctors will put you in bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any type of major injury, they will come after anything that is under your name.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not fully aware of this, but there are two major government medical healthcare systems. Medicare, which everyone pays into when we work, and Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal is for the state of California. Outside the state of California, I believe it's called Medicaid.
Yeah.
So most people, when they're older, are on Medicare. And if they are under a certain level of income, they also qualify for Medi-Cal. In my world, we call them Medi-Medis. Now, a lot of people, especially in the minority community, are unaware that if you own anything, any asset, and you are on Medi-Cal in the state of California or Medicaid outside the state of California, the state has rights to seize any of your assets the minute that you pass away.
Wow.
So, and people have come up to me and they've asked me, Nick, I have a client of mine, a lot of them are real estate agents that, they're on Medi-Cal and they're sick and they're going to the hospital in and out. Is there anything that I should know, I should worry about? One, do they own anything? Yeah, they own a house. Get them off of Medi-Cal immediately.
Wow.
Because someone who just, was a guest on the show, her name was Magali. Her grandma was sick, was in and out of the hospital. She ended up passing away in the hospital. She had Medi-Cal. She was on the loan, not on the title for the home. She was one of 4 owners. When she passed away, the state of California put, I believe, $150,000 lien on the home.
What?
Yes.
That's a brilliant hustle.
They will take your stuff.
That's a
Medical
brilliant
insurance
hustle.
is very, very important to protect your assets so you don't get taken to the cleaners.
Yeah.
So my recommendation to you, Michael, is hurry up and get stable and
Yep.
get yourself on some health insurance.
Yeah, man.
I already know I'm going to be talking to you. I don't need to, question that.
Yeah.
But that just goes to anybody that make sure that you have that covered because you do not want to be left out on the street because the state of the state will come after your assets. Now, besides you making videos for other business owners so you can get exposure, what are some of the steps that you're taking, currently to kind of get yourself known as a video creator?
So you're talking about just getting my name out there? Yeah, so other than word of mouth, creating like the way you kind of, let me kind of delineate as you were explaining how you got a hold of me and how you saw my work. Well, you saw my work through Anthony Echale Ganas. He got a hold of me through his buddy, his partner, who actually happens to be my partner from high school, my buddy from high school. And we were friends on Facebook, Instagram. And basically what I was doing was, like I was saying earlier, I didn't have, in the beginning when I first started this, and I wanted to get my name out there, I didn't have anything. I wasn't doing any work for anybody, except for, that one client I was telling you about. And that was, in another city. So what I was doing was I was going out and shooting. I was like, what am I going to shoot today? I need to shoot. That was the one thing that I kept hearing from all the creative professionals. Whatever it is that you're doing, don't stop doing it. Do it every day. So when it comes to videos, they were like, keep shooting, always shoot. And that's definitely not something I was doing because I had a job. So I wasn't, doing that every day. Now I'm like, okay, if I want to get my name out here in this business, I need to shoot every day. So I was going out and I was shooting like skate park, and I got guys skating, and I was doing it in a very cinematic way, not just following them around with a camera. I was getting closer shots, wider shots, slow motion, all that stuff, put it to music, put it on Facebook and Instagram. Got views, hey man, good work. Went out and did something else. Next day went out and did something else. And, I found out if there are car shows, I'm going to go to the car show, take the car show, video the car show, made it cinematic, made it cool, put my spin on it, put it out there. The more I put work out there, the more the people saw it and said, awesome, cool. That's one thing. So I was constantly posting to social media, hashtagging a lot as well. 2, and that's how our mutual buddy got a hold of us, how he got a hold of me. He saw my work. So it wasn't just a buddy from high school. He saw me doing work and he was like, hey, let's talk. So that's how that came about. I got a bunch of other clients in 2 different ways. Right now, what I'm pursuing is music videos. I'm pursuing real estate videos, and then just promotional videos. I do any videos But the niches that I'm chasing right now, currently, are those two major ones. So to get those clients, I advertised. I advertised on Facebook and Instagram. And I was kind of feeling it out at first. I started dropping money here and there to fill out what's going to give me the most leads. And there's been some that I dropped and I got no leads at all. Others that I dropped, you'll definitely get views on your videos. If you're putting out videos, I put out videos. Some were promo. The best one that seemed to work for me was a short 15-second video. I paid per click. And in that video, I put title overlays that said, hey, you can get this music video, contact me for this price, blah, blah, blah. I got leads. And so that's what it started expanding my business. And now, off of that, I'm starting to get more word of mouth based off of that. So in other words, I didn't just sit around and hope people would just call me out of the blue, because that wasn't going to happen. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew what I could do. Same thing with the real estate agents. I contacted some friends that I knew and I said, hey, you do real estate. You give me a listing, I'll shoot it for you for free. So basically, you provide the house, I shoot it for you for free. You get my video work and services, and I also do photography on the side because I got all the equipment. So I'll do that for you, and you let me, I'm going to keep your video and keep the content for my portfolio. How's that sound? Sounds good. So I was giving away free stuff. Now it's almost the same where, I know the quality of my work is priced extremely low for what I produce. I know I could charge a lot more, but I'm still getting started. So what I am charging is a reasonable price where I could still eat, and my client is like, hey, deal. You know what I mean? And they still get awesome work from it. And like I said, because I'm passionate about it and I really enjoy it, it's not a loss. You know what I mean? It's not a loss for me. I really get to enjoy doing what I'm doing. Just for an example, I came out last week and I shot a music video. Usually I shoot real quick music videos for a low price so that people they're not like super low, it's not ridiculous, like I'm eating in my own profits. I make a profit out of it, but it's short and quick. So I could edit it, make it easy, but you're getting awesome visuals for a low price. And that's what's, the incentive of it. This new one that I did last week involved a director and involved, it was like a full-on shoot, except, we're shooting out in the open. It was awesome because we got awesome visuals and awesome locations. And I drove about 4 hours to go and get it. I was on the road for about 4 hours. It's only about 2.5 hour drive, but traffic and LA and
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I was willing to drive to go get it. In other words, I'm driven right now and I'm super passionate to go get it. Wherever it's at. If I have to advertise, I got to spend some money. If I got the money, I'm going to spend it. You know what I mean? And right now, so the business is growing now. I advertise, now I'm getting word of mouth. And as I get more visuals, I'm still going to keep putting them out there. I'm always going to put them out there because no matter what, even if I become extremely successful, there are always people who don't know I exist. There are always people who don't know my services exist. There's always people who don't know, even if they know I do exist, they don't know that I'm better than the next guy. So I'm going to give you reasons why to hire me. And if you don't know who I am, there's no way that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Thank God for people and good word of mouth. That's why you also need, to anybody out there who's listening, you still need to be responsible. Yeah. I don't care how good you are. If you're not responsible, if I wouldn't have shown up on time today, first thing that he would have said was, hey, man, what's up with this? What's up with that? I don't know if I want to work with you next time. You know what I mean? It's just the way it works. You have to be responsible. If you give a date, keep it. If you give a time, keep it. If you're going to do a gig, get it done in a timely manner. Don't put people on the back burner, because then you're never going to get hired. Same thing with, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with your clients. You got to come through for them. If you're not coming through for them, why am I giving you any money? I'll give it to the next guy who's hungry.
Yeah.
And especially, we've been talking about how this is the best time to go into business for yourself. There's all these age of information, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? That's also true for the next guy. So if you're not hungry enough to get it, then the next guy will be hungry, and he'll come and eat you up. He'll eat you up. He'll take your profits. And then if he stays hungry, he's going to be successful.
Yeah.
So that also goes to that saying of how I was talking about how you need encouragement every day, and you need that motivation every day. Keeps me hungry.
Absolutely true. I've always been very self-motivated, self-driven, but there would get times where I would lose motivation. And I've heard Eric Thomas. I know who he is, but I've never heard that saying. He's like, you don't need motivation runs out. He goes, yeah, but you need to shower every day. Perfect sense, because I listen to a podcast, the Gary Vee Audio Experience, every single day. His voice alone gets me focused. Yes, he'll give great information as far as what he's doing with his business. I listen to all of it, but just hearing him gets me focused to do whatever it is I need to do for that day.
Yeah.
Because hearing his voice, who is a rich individual.
Yeah.
And he's still out working and probably out hustling me, and nowhere near at his level.
Yeah.
So it just pretty much makes it seem like it makes it very clear that there's no excuse.
Yes.
In today's age, there's no excuse to get anything done, being productive. It is 100% possible to do anything in today's market.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he's hungry.
Extremely hungry. So I always like to ask, random questions just to kind of get to know of, the people, and so people can kind of see you outside of just being professional.
Yeah, man.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh, man. Yeah, that was the bad question to get, because you're not going to get a rounded answer from me. I am a sucker for sweets. So, any flavor, actually. Matter of fact, last night, my mom brought home some ice cream for a party later on this weekend. Well, me and my kids tore it to pieces before she even got to put it in the freezer. And that was Moose Tracks was one of them. And if I don't know how popular Moose Tracks is, but it's just like a concoction of like vanilla swirl with chocolate swirls in it and peanut butter cups. That, and then chocolate fudge brownie. That, I'll tear all that up. Pistachio, I'll tear up. All of it. I guess the better and easier to narrow down question is, what don't I like? And I'm not a big one about coffee ice cream. My wife likes it. I'm not that huge fan of it. That's about it though. I'm when I gain weight, and I can gain weight. My handle on my Instagram, because I'm also kind of a health nut as well. I'm a gym rat.
Yeah.
I'm a gym rat. And that's only been since 2015. I was just a fat guy. My body type would be more of, for the body types, if you don't know, just Google body type, and there's 3 different body types: ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. Ectomorph's the skinny dude, hard gainer.
It's probably me.
Yeah, skinny all your life, which will look great when you're old, by the way. You'll look awesome. There's the mesomorph, who's the guy who always had the perfect ratios. He had the 6-pack in high school when you guys were going to PE, and everybody's jealous of him. The jock that always gets the girl. And then the endomorph is what I am. You gain fat just by looking at a donut, just really easy to gain fat. For me, it's also kind of easy to gain muscle in a way, but it's also super easy to gain fat. So like my Instagram handle is fat_guy_Mike, fat guy Mike. And I push a lot of, I'm a big old advocate of the ketogenic diet. So I push a lot of that rhetoric on there. Definitely not on it right now, because I'm blowing up, but it's because I'm a sucker for sweets. I eat sweets like I'm eating a meal. Like if we were to go, hey Mike, let's go to the ice cream shop. Okay, right after this, and I'll have like a fat plate, because it's not like it's not 1 or 2 scoops can't do me. I have to eat until I'm full.
Wow.
So yeah, bad topic.
I can kind of relate, because I love sweets. I'm a sucker for sweets. I love brownies.
Yeah, I do brownies.
Homemade brownies.
With vanilla ice cream.
I can go with a vanilla ice cream, or I could just a brownie with a glass of milk. I'm lactose intolerant now, so I do almond milk. But
Is that become because of age?
Yeah, it really has.
I've been hearing that, man.
Before I could drink milk.
Sorry guys, old guy problems.
Yeah, I could drink milk and no problem. And then I'd say about maybe like 7-8 years ago, I'm like, why is my stomach acting weird? And because I was a big protein shake guy, and it's just like I just started reacting differently, and I stopped drinking it. I had to stop drinking it. And then I'll never forget this one time, and I don't know if she listens to the podcast or not. Well, she probably does, but my soon-to-be wife, Jessica, I was going on a trip to Mammoth, and I already had distinguished the problem that milk gives me a problem.
Yeah.
Milk gets me farty and bloated, and it makes me break out.
Ooh.
So I was gonna head out to Mammoth for the weekend, and I asked her, "Hey, do you want to make you a protein shake?" I'm like, "Sure." It's just late at night, and she makes me a protein shake with her regular milk. As soon as I drink it and I taste it, I'm like, "You made this with milk, right?" "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot." I'm like, "You're lying."
Sabotage.
The next day, I had the biggest pimple on my forehead. There was no female that was going to talk to me because she probably thought I was a Mexican unicorn with the pimple that I had on my forehead. So, yeah, I can't drink milk anymore. I can, eat ice cream. I can eat the cheeses, but when it comes to milk, I just straight up, I can't do that anymore.
Wow.
So yeah, almond milk and brownies are my I can do that all day. I can eat the whole pan.
I can eat talking about this. I'm probably gonna get something on the way.
I'm up about to text Jessica right now. I'm like, can you do me a favor? Can you make some brownies? Can you make me some brownies? Because that's just I just love it. So I know what you mean when it comes to sweets. If I didn't have a sweets addiction, I would probably have 6-pack abs.
Yeah, you just said it, dude. Because I could, especially with my body type, if I were just to stick to food alone, that would fuel me to gain muscle. There have been times where I've just, when I've stuck to my diets, I cut out sugars, and I actually do a really good job of burning fat and putting on muscle. Whether it's been the ketogenic diet, which is what I've been on the last, few times that I've gone on diets, and even before that when I tried P90X back in 2009, which is still a good program. Man. Yeah, it's still a good program. But anyway, all that being said, I just am an idiot. I guess I'm gonna be an idiot until my body just makes me stop. Which we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, it'll get there.
It'll get there.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and
awesome,
I know
man.
I look forward to seeing the end product. I will let everyone know when that video comes out. I hope you guys like it, and I know you're always talking about getting exposure.
Yeah, man.
And so, just to let you know and let the listener know, October 13th, in the city of Downey, I will be hosting a corporate softball tournament. So, if you're not busy that day, there's going to be 8 teams, which will more likely be 8 different companies that will be representing their companies on the softball field, as well as I'd say a good about 5-6 other companies as vendors there. So if any of you listeners want to bring a team and play softball, or just show up, you're more than welcome to. I will leave the link in the description of this podcast so you can look at the flyer. And that will be happening on October 13th. So if you want to network and film and get yourself out there, this would be a great opportunity for you to do so. You're more than welcome.
Which is also a point we didn't bring up, how important networking is.
Yeah, networking is everything.
I'll leave that to you, but that's one of the things that I'm learning is that how important it is. Like I was telling you, I was introverted. It means I don't want to go out and talk to nobody else. So... And now being forced where I'm at now, it's like, dude, you don't network, you're never going to grow, you're never going to find the connections you need. I don't have all the answers. You know what I mean? And just being down here with this weekend with you, I've learned so much. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. Not only do you build relationships, but you broaden your horizons, you broaden your mind, your thoughts, what you need to do next, all that stuff. You don't network, and I know a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people want to be self-sufficient to say, hey, I did it. Especially when we looked at Gary Vee, like, well, he's self-made. And I think Gary Vee will be the first one to tell you that, he didn't do it by himself. He needed his dad to get started. And he's a brilliant mind that took it to the next step. But even right now, he has a team of how many people? So you don't do it by yourself. You need other people. You have to network. So, the past me would have been like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
The new me is like, really? Let me check my schedule because if it's open, heck yeah. Because you got to. You definitely got to. And not only that, but then you build actual good relationships, which is important. It's part of living.
Yes.
So
very extremely. And give you an example of networking today. and I not to say purposely did it. I made it a point to do it today when we went out to lunch.
Yep.
We ate at Uncle Henry's. Uncle Henry's owners will be on the podcast soon. So we were sitting there, and I was telling Michael, I was like, Jessica's sister knows the owners. Like, she does the marketing, she does all the online stuff. Mm-hmm. And I saw someone there that fit that description. She looked about late 20s. I'm like, okay, that's probably her. So what did I do? I go out to the counter and I talk to the gentleman. And I was like, hey, I know my friend knows this girl who lives in New York, and she does marketing for you guys. I want to know if I could speak to her, just so kind of. And the guy was like, "Oh, what's this for?" I'm like, "Oh, I do a podcast for local business owners."
Yeah.
He's like, "Sure, let me go ahead and get in contact with her." So before, and I forgot to mention, but before that, I had told this to you, right? It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
I'm gonna get in contact with this person. You'd be able to do a really good commercial here." Mm-hmm. And I go, and I'll do it, right? And then at that moment, I was like, I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah.
So back to where I ate it, I talked to the gentleman, and I got to talk to her and was talking to her. Come to find out, the person that I asked is the one is the brother who does the day-to-day operations.
Awesome.
So yes, there's the female that's what connected me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was my way in, but I ended up skipping the person who really runs it, but at the end, I was able to connect with both of them, where more likely Uncle Henry's, if you're listening to this, Tina and Chris, you guys will be on here next, but I look forward to interviewing you. I look forward to hearing your guys' story and sharing it with the listeners. So again, thanks, Mike, for being in here. Look forward to the commercial. I know you'll probably show up to the tournament, meet some more business people.
Yeah, brother.
There's going to be at least 10 to 12 different companies that you'll be able to network with. That's a promise. Anything last thing you want to say that, a piece of advice that you want to give to someone who's starting off, maybe what advice you would give yourself when you were younger? It's up to you.
Basically, what you were just talking about and how you went out and you spoke to the owners. Just imagine if you let your insecurities take a hold of you and say, well, what if they tell me no? What if something happens? And that's definitely, again, as an introvert, these things are always on my mind. What if they tell me no? I don't want to be rejected. All these things, like I told you. So if you're barely starting out, for one, don't be lazy. Get off your butt and hit the streets to let everybody know what you're doing. Offer free work. Don't offer it forever, because then you'll never eat and you'll never be a success. Get enough, and if nothing still happens, then do some more. And then when it comes to asking for business or asking for price, don't be afraid to ask, because what does it hurt to ask? What's the worst they can tell you? No. Then you move on. And the same thing, what was the worst they could tell you today? No. Okay, bye. And then you move on to the next one. But I think you have more faith in people. And that's what I've had to develop. And now it's just like, wow, the world opened up to me. It's what happens when you shut yourself off. And so, it's happening late in life for me, being 35. No means old, but at the same time, it's a little late to be learning this stuff, but it's better late than never.
Yep.
I could teach it to my children, and now we're getting a chance to tell everybody on the podcast. Don't let your insecurities hold you back. Get off your butt. Don't be lazy. Work. That's it.
That's a wrap. All right, guys, thanks for listening.